In the fading light of the Sicilian day, Angelo stood amidst the fields of Alia, his gaze lingering on the distant silhouette of Valledolmo. The village, nestled atop its own mountain peak, seemed to hold a secret treasure, one that stirred his heart with a mix of longing and hope. "She lives there," he murmured, his voice a blend of awe and wistfulness, amidst the ancient stones and winding streets of Valledolmo. His brother, pausing in his labor, looked towards the distant village. "It's not so far in distance, yet a world away," he remarked, understanding the unspoken barriers that lay between Angelo and her. "It's been a year since we last passed through Valledolmo," Angelo's brother Gioacchino remarked following his gaze. "I wonder how the villagers have fared." The rugged terrain, a labyrinth of hills and valleys, was a physical manifestation of the emotional journey Angelo found himself on. The kingdom of the two Sicilies, ruled by the Bourbon dynasty, had merged the formerly separate kingdoms of Naples and Sicily only 4 decades prior. Sicilians still dreamed of autonomy and railed against Bourbon oppression and negligence. Rural Sicily remained mired in poverty and injustice under the absentee landlords that controlled the great estates. Brigandage plagued the countryside. Angelo thought of the dangers she faced traveling the remote mountain paths. But in his dreams, she walked safely beside him in the wheat fields of Alia, unencumbered by the rugged terrain that divided them. "She has a laugh," Angelo continued, his hands absently brushing the soil from his trousers, "that I imagine echoes through the valleys, bridging the gap between us." He had heard her laugh only once, a sound as fleeting as it was enchanting, during their brief encounter at a market fair. "Have you seen her lately?" his brother asked, a hint of curiosity in his tone. Angelo shook his head, a small smile playing on his lips. "Only in my dreams. There, she walks beside me, not just in Valledolmo, but here, in the fields of Alia. In my dreams, there are no mountains or valleys to separate us." A group of villagers passed by, their conversation peppered with words of unrest and hope. "Did you hear about the latest talk in Palermo?" one of them said, his voice heavy with a mix of excitement and fear. Angelo again brushed the soil from his trousers, his mind returning to Valledolmo. "She is like the sunshine breaking through storm clouds," he said to himself, "a light in the darkness." The conversation turned to the day-to-day life in Alia, but Angelo's thoughts remained steadfastly with her. He pictured her moving gracefully through the streets of Valledolmo, her presence a light in the rustic charm of the village. "She is like the sun," he said softly, "illuminating the darkest corners of my thoughts, bringing warmth to the chill of solitude." His thoughts were interrupted. "Italy must be united," proclaimed Francesco, the village shoemaker. "We cannot remain fragmented states and kingdoms, easy pickings for foreign powers." "You speak treason against King Ferdinand of the Bourbons," argued Pietro the baker. "For centuries Sicily has been ruled from Naples. Unification threatens our island's autonomy." "Autonomy," scoffed an elderly farmer named Marco. "We Sicilians are oppressed under the Bourbons. Unification will bring progress and liberty denied us by Naples." "And what of our taxes?" countered Pietro. "You think unification will relieve our poverty? We will be bled dry funding wars in the north." Angelo and Gioacchino exchanged glances but did not interrupt the spirited debate. The merchants and tradesmen of Alia were divided on the Risorgimento, the movement to unify Italy's kingdoms and states into one nation. "Garibaldi promises freedom for Sicily," Francesco insisted. "His redshirts defeated the Bourbons in battles across the south. Yet he hands us over to Piedmont and its greedy king," argued Pietro. "Sicily will be ruled by northerners who care nothing for our land or customs." The arguing continued as the brothers extricated themselves from the crowded square. Both yearned for liberty, but unification's benefits remained uncertain. They would have to wait and see what the tides of history washed onto Sicily's shores. They entered the small cottage they shared with their parents, Giuseppe and Concetta Maria. The smell of simmering tomato sauce filled the air. "Is Nonna awake?" Angelo asked his mother, kissing her cheek in greeting. Concetta sighed, stirring the pot on the hearth. "She's sleeping now. The rheumatism in her hands has worsened this winter." Giuseppe looked up from repairing a clay amphora. "The cold damp gets into her bones. I wish we could afford more wood to keep the cottage warm." "At least she's with us and not alone," Concetta said. Angelo nodded, his eyes softening at the mention of his grandmother. "We are lucky to have her," he blurted. "Her stories keep our hearts and minds alive in difficult times." "They always take me to a time before all this turmoil," he replied, his thoughts briefly touching upon the struggles of their times. Giuseppe, a robust man, weathered by years of labor in the fields, leaned back in his chair. "Your Nonna has seen so much change in her lifetime. From the Bourbon rule to the rumors of unification with Italy," he remarked thoughtfully. "Yet, through all these years, her spirit remains as strong as the day she married your nonno. She remembers the old Sicily before the Bourbons merged us with Naples," Giuseppe said. "Her songs and tales preserve our heritage." Concetta smiled wistfully. "Nonna spins such vivid pictures of the orange groves and wheat fields of her childhood. She helps me imagine a Sicily free and prosperous again." "With young lovers strolling the piazzas on summer nights," Angelo added jokingly. His thoughts turned to Valledolmo. Giuseppe chuckled. "Keep dreaming, my son. For now, take comfort in family and good food, even if simple. Our loved ones are the true treasures in life." Angelo smiled, pride in his lineage evident in his eyes. "She always says that we Sicilians are like the olive trees, deeply rooted and enduring. No matter how harsh the sun or how rocky the soil, we thrive." Concetta squeezed Angelo's shoulder affectionately. Despite their hardships, Sicilian families sustained each other with unwavering devotion. Angelo felt deeply grateful for the warmth and joy of his parents and Nonna. Their laughter and affection filled the humble cottage, a respite from the troubles beyond its walls. The conversation turned to lighter topics, their laughter mingling with the crackling sound of the fire. In these moments, the weight of political strife and economic hardships seemed to lift, replaced by the comforting embrace of family and love. As night wrapped its cloak around the Sicilian countryside, Angelo's heart traversed the distance to Valledolmo. In his mind's eye, he saw her, a vision of beauty and grace, her spirit intertwining with the very essence of the land that lay between them. She was the unseen melody in the wind, the whispered promise in the rustling leaves, a presence as real and profound as the earth beneath his feet. Giuseppe raised his glass, a twinkle in his eye. "To our family, our beautiful Sicily, and to hope, may it bloom in our hearts like the flowers in our garden." They clinked glasses, the sound a cheerful chime in the quiet night. Outside, the stars twinkled above the Sicilian countryside, a silent witness to the enduring spirit of its people. In the quiet of the evening, Angelo's hopes and dreams soared like an eagle over the rugged landscape, reaching out to the distant village, to the girl who had unknowingly captured his heart. In the stillness, he felt a connection, a bond that transcended the physical barriers, uniting two souls in the timeless dance of love and longing. Thank you so much for listening to this family tree saga. We know your time is precious. Look for more at familytreesagas.com.